ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์ผู้
Good morning, everyone. Hello. If you guys are here, then open your cameras and then we will start the class right now. Good morning, Lips. Good morning, May. Good morning, Christina. I'm sorry, I have some drawback with my signals. So I opened the rooms quite 5 minutes late. Hello, Polly. Hello, everyone. You guys ready for your presentations? 15 minutes. Yes, you guys ready? Before we start the class, as I'm going on me, we have something to say. We have something to introduce something before we start the presentation.
Your voice is not so clear, Chan Poo. Actually,
Really?
I have something probably at the end, or if you want me to to speak right now, it's okay. It depends. I have some like a couple of slides to summarize the public space use and the lesson we learned from all of you guys and two of my students.
That could be a summarize. Maybe we just start like from my slide just a little bit, and then we jump into the presentations. Okay. Okay, I share my screen. I guess right now you guys see my screen, right? Okay, this is special seminar for number 4 from better design for society interaction in what we design communities. And we have like we graduate for 2 classes for 4th time already. And for the last time, they just said to us like what is the community interactions, and the site that we study is what we design, right? Community which is on the south of Old City. And not just that, like on that area, they have like 3 temples, which is combined from 3 communities. And we're scoping on what Munsan community, which is they divide from the north part and the south part. And scoping inside that, like the social interactions, they found out that they have the 4 kinds of public area in temples, street, in front of the house, and also like in the shop area as well. And looking through the soil number 1, right? In Thailand, we call it soil because it's very small alley, substreet, which is combined by the temple central communities. That's why we call it soil because it's very narrow and it's never graphically integrated. It's organically, like from the architectural way, perfect. And then this is our side in soil 1. And I provide our student for 3 groups. The first group is divided by the words. The first group I cover word and syntax group, which is provide with Kiko, Jennifer, and Kang. And they will present for group number 1. And group number 2, I call it analogy groups, which is by Christina, Polly, Joy, and Yulin. And the last one, metaphor, Alex, Happy, and Brain, which is they say things as a metaphoric form. And this is the assignment that I just want to integrate to the works, not just only the design, but thinking out of the box, thinking out like what to design the better society interactions with semantic design. And that's it for my presentation. I hope you all present how to improve the social interaction in the community better, and also thinking of like how to present semantic things from abstract things from like the cultural way from community into the design. That's it. Okay. Okay, that's a wrap for me. Do you guys see my screen? I talk with the screen. No, no one sees the screen. You just hear my voice. Okay, sorry.
The skin is not.
It's this one. Okay, this is the slide that May just presented, and this is a three group that I provide, and then this is the assignment number 2. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I guess this is a time for presentation. Group number 1, you have 15 minutes. So please share your screen.
Okay, so I will show my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen.
Oh, okay. For our group, we want to develop communication areas. It's from actually this idea is from our have communication with other Thai students. It's from other faculty students. We told her we like to have a spread of social activities and communications from this COVID-19. So we want to space have a communication, make the neighborhood have a communication with each other. Let's have this video.
Mm. There's no sound, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the box detail. At first, we have the ideas is to have some lighters to cheer our neighborhoods up, like to have a good day and hope you can give a good emoji to the next person. Put some letters in the in that box, and some then I have some record. It's first communication with each other. At first, I just put some letters in there, and later when I to add something to this box, I found it's add some candles, some candies from others. And I found a very interesting thing is for this tea is I just put in there for the with this lighter, and someone use some buttons to help it to link them up, and thank you. And this is our design is from the first floor, that areas, because COVID-19, everyone is afraid to have that's the COVID-19. So we put some mask in there, and we want to have talking about talking to others, use some old fashions there. It's like to write. For our department is have maybe just 30 people in there staying. Yes, 30. And for my opinions, it's the neighborhood is like the friends, even like the family. But when we move in their departments, actually, even I can't see each other's one by one and face to face to have communication. So I think maybe it's just some people will scared from the active socialized and have communication with strangers. And because from the COVID-19 and this semester, I found I think it's interesting, but it's bad thing. It's my English is worse and worse. And to my thinking, I got the 2 points. One point is even in my hometown, and after I isolate, then okay. For this, the details is for this part, the detail is to can not can use face to face to have communication with each other. Just use the paper to use a pen to write in the paper. Then the next person can say that, or someone want to have a communication but not face to face, and that time they can write and have a communication with another one.
I just wonder, is this related to Munsan community? Because I just gave you like the real site, the real context to the worldwide community, to the Munsan community. So if this apartment is on Munsan community going one or not?
Not.
And why? Why do you do? Like, it's not our topic to design, right?
It's because I think that this it's socialist communication is communication areas. So if we just design for these parts, and like the hotel or something, or anywhere, we can put the areas in there. So we just to find some questions for the today's the questions, then to want to solve it.
But this is the topic to design. This is a design committees, and you're just not doing it. I don't get it. I just thought that you will get some idea from your apartment, and then we integrate it to the design in design community, which is we're talking about this. And that's why we give you a SketchUp model, right? That's why we give you a SketchUp model to design on it, but you just didn't do it. So I'm confused. I'm totally confused. Like, how can I get you a score? Because you just have an idea, but not put it on the real side. That was I confused. So if you just give an idea, then from that idea and develop it to design, it could be like thinking of the residential. How can they gathering? Because it's not apartment communities. It's a single house, right? It's single house, it's shop house. So how can make single house and shop house related like that area? That could be interesting topic.
And because for our opinions, it's want to because it's social network, we think it's a social net. So we think maybe just to find some problem, then we solve it, then we can put these areas to anywhere. So we think it's the link from this apartment to this temple.
But I cannot see it. I'm sorry, I couldn't see it. Kiko, I know you are the leader of this group, but I want to hear others members work as well. Like, you always be the one who presented for others. I hope this work could be a group works, right? And I really want others members to speak up something, and I want to see the real works on the site. I'm sorry, this is my comment. It's pretty harsh, but this is my thought. I'm so sorry that I couldn't see the design on the real side. But anyway, like, we can talk about this later, so in our class. But I want to know some comment from Ajahn Kai and Nate for this job.
Right. I think the idea is very interesting and out of expectation indeed. I mean, I haven't thought about something like this. I think it's a lovely idea, very, very nice idea, and it may work in your context. I think it might work, and it creates some more interaction. I think it's very nice in that aspect. Actually, this will go to one of my summary later on. I think we have learned something, and I'm not sure how will Ajahn Poo will go on with this, but I really like the idea. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree with Ajahn Kai too, because I see in the detail like he drawing in the picture, like play game and have some cue box or something, give a comment. I already forgot for this detail because it's very like more close and more personal, but this idea is will make more interaction. I think is a good.
I think so. Like the idea is very interesting. Like
Yeah.
it's thinking of today design. It's thinking of like COVID-19 pandemics. It's thinking of the social relation. It's very good idea. But I think it would be great if it designed for Munsan communities, right? On the real side. I think like Kiko, you done very interesting job, but you could decide on the real side. That's it. And that I can we can develop this project later, but for right now we have to present something to Nay and Ajahn Pranom. So that's just what I concern. And for about your idea and the design, we can develop for semiotic of perceptions. For sure, we can talk about it later. But I just want you to present something to Nay and Ajahn Pranom. That's it. Okay. But anyway, thank you for your work. Interesting.
Thank you. We will develop.
Yeah, sure. We will. Me including. Okay. We will develop it together. Okay. It's time for group 2. Okay. Group 2 analogies. Are you ready? Share your screen.
Okay, I will share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay, about us, social interaction. And this is about our concept. The first one is wide participation, communication, and interaction. And the second, symbolic of city. And the third, in requirements. And the fourth, balance of environment. And the fifth, relationship between building and people. And about public space, what is public space? The most important thing is that people have common ideas, enter the same space, and participate and communicate. Spontaneous daily leisure activities of the public. And this is our inspiration to design some interesting decorations on ordinary street to attract people to stop and want to spend time here and enjoy the relaxed feeling of the environment. And about this, it's about our design. It's based on the architecture around us using semiotics, bananas, donut, and trousers. Interesting seats designed through our transformers. Through these unique furniture designs, people are attracted to stop and enjoy it here. And next.
And like the first one, we got the shape of the elevated pedestrian bridge. We got the shape of the donut, and we try to design and make the seat. We put the shape of the do not sit stand up or the flatwise, and people can lie down or do some activities on this seat. Next one, please. And this is the Beijing TV station. We also got the shape of the gents, and we did some design of the shape of the seat, like we draw this one and the leather one, and the people can climbing up and down and do some activities around this seat. Next one, and this is the Jinghe Hotel. It's shaped like the banana, so we design the seats like the banana, and we try to divide it into the banana peel and the banana flesh, and the flesh maybe will become the light, and the banana peel is referred to people to sit or lie down. Yes.
Next, we also put those architecture in different places. Next, and the first is the banana rest part. Is allow people to rest even when it's rain. Can also shelter from the wind and rain. In the middle is the lamp tube. My satisfy the human nighttime demand. And this building can be placed in a square with a large number of people. Next. The second is yoga trousers. And this is the shape from the trousers because it's big enough. So it can accommodate many people and can even be used for yoga. And this architecture can be placed in large green area where people can feel relaxed while they doing yoga or relax. Next. And there is the ladder shaped tour, and which is also shaped from the pants, where on can rest and feel closer to the sky. This is can put on the green place also because people, when they look at the sky, they can feel relaxed. Next. This is the donut seats. Donut recliner that can accommodate multiple people. And the vertical donut stands that created a space for the one people. And the people can put the back on these donut seats. Next. And for this picture, the first one is we designed before. This is the shape from the mountain, and we put on the square so that people can sit here and relax. And the next is banana park. We put those seats in the places, and it's become a banana park. People can rest here and play with those architecture. Next.
We can see this space have more different elements, and we can see put an interesting element to the interesting space and can make people surrounding feel different. Next. And we can feel that this design bring vitality to the space. By adding different elements, people can feel different. This interesting design and go into the street, making the street full of vitality. Next. And this is experiments feeling for our design. We think the different and interesting things can make this building and this space have more different feeling for people, and they can in this space can be very relaxing. They can rest for this space. For example, children can have encouraging facility, and adults have place to yoga, make them feel more in the sense. And it can also increase people experience of the building. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. I would say
what is Munsan community? I couldn't say it again, but anyway, this group is I really like how I can hear others member voice. You are all presented. That's what the great thing. And another great thing that you implement, you integrate it from the semiotic design, but those semiotic design, those symbolic, it from China, right? You could not bring those context to another context, and the experience will be like out of all over the place. Like you could not understand like the donuts, the bananas, the trouser, the pants. What is the main experience that you want to say, right? If you construct that, even you do like this in Mulsan communities, I don't get it, because once you bring donut, once you bring banana, cans, all of the things on the Saturday market, let's say, like we bring this into the Saturday walking street or to the Mulsan communities, and what improve the social interactions, right? They just not out for just out. They not go outside for just going outside. But if the Mulsan communities, they do yoga, and then you decide some element for yoga, that would convince me. But right now, I think the design is for design itself. Design for design themselves, not for Mulsan people, not for integrated social in Mulsan communities. I guess like if group threes do like this again, I think the problem is our communications, right? I think this could be the problems, but I think I'm not sure what what group three represent. Okay, but I really like the design. The design is very try to connect with the thing that we learn, but it's so direct. It's so denotations. You guys are making donuts, right? Making donuts. So thinking out of the box, right? Okay, that's it for my comments.
Thank you, Ajahn Poo. Again, I think the design is interesting. I think they have an idea of, they know that if there is something interesting in the public space, it will let people stop and stay. And that's, I think they understand the significance of optional and social activities. As Ne said last time, that if something in the environment is interesting or is good enough, it will create the optional activities. It make people stop and stay in public spaces, and that's the main point, which is quite important. And as Ajahn Poo said also, that you guys bring the semiotic ideas from your class, which is very good. I think a step further for Munsan community will be brilliant if you study a little bit more about the context of the site that you have given. And I think with these kind of ideas will make a very good design for the area. I think it's interesting. Anyhow, very nice for us to be in this class. And I have to thank you, Ajahn Poo, and you guys, because I think it's provide a lot of chance for us to learn, and we will talk about it again at the end. Okay.
I agree with Ajahn Pranom for sure. If you bring some symbol or symbolic design from inside area itself, like silverware or maybe like some animal inspired from that painting or something is on ground, something is on within communities, and then you put that and decide that from the real thing that you see from within community. That would be nice. Like, do not just copy donut to within area. It's out of the place for my comment. Okay.
And for my comment, and if you think about the object, you can put more detail to make more interaction, like lighting, how is open or is will close in the mechanic of the thing more than this just drawing the banana or something like donut. You if you put some more detail is gonna be like your the area experience will get more. Yeah, but another comment is also same, agree with Ajahn Pu and Ajahn Kai.
But however, like keep improve yourself, right? All of the comments not just blame you or just like devalue you. It's just for improve you to better designer. So keep the comment from making you better designers. That's our agenda. That's our attitude for this class. So thank you for the job. Okay. Moving on
Thank
to
you.
group number 3. Thank you, group number 2, and thank you, group number 1 as well. Okay, group number 3. Let's see how you guys work. Okay, you make me scared right now.
Let me see the screen.
Sure.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, here is a drawing, the previous drawing in the last class. You are comment me about looking at bigger scale and think about how this design can improve the life of people who live in Muan San and Wolai Soy, also the visitor. So I travel in Google Map looking for a bigger area that we can create something in that. Just as soon as I own this area and try to think how I can make a design in this. So I think about make a market like a place for trading or selling the product that's produced by Muan San, and let people come here and look at the product, see it. Also make a shelter. This shelter, the design is based on this drawing. Like make a surface and let the pen go, because I want to keep the metaphor of the tumbling shape to a silverware. So this shelter can use for a visitor for rest, and also insider for create a shop or trading area. And the design of this shelter is based on silver in a microscope. Alex, your turn. Anything to add?
And because our theme words is metaphor, so we call it spider web, like because people in it can go everywhere they want, just like a complex social network. So the rest area inside, people can get close to each other very well. And Tabby will say more. Tabby?
We think another great way to create a good society is this areas cannot just be the market, like normally random appear in the street, but it can also be a trading spot for people who want to exchange things, not just money, like want to exchange clothes, silver stuff, the signature of this place, like what Alex and Prem said. Actually, before we designed this part, me and Prem, Alex, ever do a little research about what is most people like to talk about when they first met. I know everybody will have the experience talking to the stranger before. They ask, the answer is favorite things we ever ask people like, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite songs? And what is your favorite clothing brand? So imagine they just come to trade the silver stuff that is their signature on, maybe trade some music vinyl CD, trade some their style of clothing and talk about it. So imagine how everything work. Imagine how interesting it will be. And if people come to talk and trading the thing that they really want and like how happy they're gonna be. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You see my screen, right? I just tap your screen to draw something. I think you guys thinking on the place, so that's why
We can
Mulsan.
see what you're drawing.
Okay, please. Okay, I draw something. Okay, you see my. Okay.
Okay, I can now.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with my pen? Okay. Actually, your design is thinking on site. So this is the design is already related to the site, but the site is just not a site, right? The site had people, the site had communities, the site had context. So this, I wonder, what is those roles connected to, right? If you decide something that's really like so connecting, you have to think like what you bring people to, right? If you
Excuse
yeah.
me. That was from eye drawing like that.
Okay,
It could
okay.
be any shape like that.
Yeah, but it's just not a shape, Alex. The shape, it could be any shape, right? It could be inspired from anything, but thinking like you, why you're making that shape, you have to decide that shape to relate to people, to connect activities. That's the key, right? I think that's the problem because sometimes designers thinking like design something fancy, something that so wonderful shape, but what those shape for us, right? Those shape have to connect it to the communities. I think you have tools. You have your own design ways for sure. But the design could relate it to the socials. So the street, parking, green area that could relate it to people who living there. I just want to add more. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's related to people activity because I design in a round shape so they can walk and meet each other.
Okay, and that could be great if you are thinking like what is the exactly activities on on there. So like yeah, maybe like the parking that you just said, like it is motorcycle or cars or anything. So I couldn't get it because the shape of parking is not the really shape of parking, right? But I really like how you design 4 elements on the public space because these elements is that's mean you understand how to making place, right? Place is just not making an area or making a design, but try to connect with the road, connect with open space, green area, shelters, and parking. The element is very great, and the graphic is fine, but those things that you design, how can I convince to think that this is for online communities? You have to add more data or maybe thinking of the context that could convince me more. But somehow this work is pretty nice, right? You try to study on site with your limited of time by going by Google Map, Google Earth. That's perfect because we cannot go to the site for the real person, right? So that's very nice to try to do something, even we are in the COVID pandemics. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Well, I haven't mentioned before, but I think all the 3 groups, I really like the idea that you think about people and the feeling of people. When I like the last part when you describe that how happy will people be when they gather together and they exchange the idea. I feel that you have the passion about the feeling of the people who will use this space. But anyway, when I mentioned about your design in class last week, I think that you might look to other spaces, the small alleys, or like in front of other shops, or the others artisan's house. I mean, looking like a network instead of just one point. But then you go to the big space. Well, it's one of the option, but to be realistic, it's not so realistic, I think. But I like the idea that you comes and you have the many ideas about your design, about the tumbling and the design of the silver craft and all that detail. But perhaps if you think about those small spaces more, it will very fit to the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nay, do you have something to say?
I think it's good idea to think about green, because for now in Wat Mueang San have some experimental about green too, but in the place it's in the temple. It's have like the organization to give them a green area more. So I think the green area is possible, but maybe can move to somewhere in the Soi 1, like a pocket. This is a good idea. And for this group trip, maybe next time I have to need more detail about why it's work, like this shelter is gonna do for the good, for clean, for water, and like something like in more detail. But I think in idea is okay and is good. Yeah. And I have done and I have some
Yeah. Okay, for sure.
I think they might have something to summarize, or Chanpu, what would you like to say?
Oh, I just say nothing. I think like this is very great to integrate two classes together. I think in the thesis graduate student, they research on the site and they making the degree study into the real things, and that's the design could improve for the real things, right? We for the second years, like we are idea student, which is like we aim to be a designers. And if the designer just design for the design alone, I think it's not realistic, right? We try to thinking on the real things as well. So I think the combination of the class is pretty nice, right? You cannot think like, okay, my design, it could come up from myself. Okay, it come up from yourself, but you have to compromise. You have to develop. You have to adapt to the real site, and that people can understand it, right? That's nice to bring some donuts or bananas, or that's very nice that you study on your apartment for group ones. It's very nice, but how could that works in Musan communities? That a challenge. That's a very challenge, right? Because sometimes the designer cannot select the place that you want to design. Sometimes it's come up with a topic that you have to decide this area, without knowing this. So the knowing or studying to the site, that's the key to understand the site and improve the design. I think that's affect to our class very much, because in our class we're thinking ourselves to decide something, bring something from your ideas. It's sometimes it's so subjective, right? It's pretty subjective, but thinking out like what if our design just cannot communicate to others? The design just communicate to yourself. That's it. I think that's not a good design. The good design could communicate to others, right? Not just the graphic or not just a body of it, but the feeling that you mentioned, the experience that you mentioned, right? Sometimes you cannot get it. Oh, what is the design for? But you went there. Oh, this is so nice. This is so calm. I feel happy to live here. That's the key. That's perceptions, right? The perception is about everything, feeling, emotions, visual, anything. So I think this is very nice. I just live in this way. Okay, so I give it to you, Nay. You want something to speak up, to speak more?
Yeah, from I prepare something to share with your guide about idea. That for my part, because like I can see, yeah. I will put some suggestion to like easy. Yeah, but I think like if be me, I will have two phase of the idea about this. At first, maybe like to information people to pro and con, like how the community will good when we change something like that, or the regulation like do together it will improve the area like that's phase one, like provide the parking and like have a regulation to do not allow the vehicle to the area in like the evening time, because that I mentioned the time is matter. So if no if don't have a car pass, will increase more space to the area, like the road can possible be the public area for the neighbor, so the car is matter. And in the phase two, like maybe we have to create like in group 1, 2, 3 has create the things on the street. Yeah, I think like I see in the Chiang Mai city is have a fence like this, so it's a good idea to like to create a beautiful fence and font of area too, and it's also be like in the Asia fence and flower like this. Maybe we can create more seating, like design a seating and more detail like this. It's durable, and when it's raining, it's durable and have a shading, something like this. Yeah, or maybe we can create some variety way to sit and play in the narrow soil like this. Is gonna interesting. Or maybe on the street, this layer can put some creative things like painting or something participation on the area in front of house. Or maybe put something like the play, thinking about playing on the area that we have, something like this. Maybe put more seating and renew the fence area. Or maybe create something on the road, like ask the community to do it together, play game like this. Yeah, that is a rough idea for me to thinking about this.
Thank you for group number 4. I think this is quite nice design as well, Nay. But if you are in my class as well, like I think you have to think about like something semiotics design on it, because it never represent identify
Yeah.
Musan yet.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
but let's see, like they never the best design in the class, right? The school can never have a bad design. Every design have something to talk about, and what's to talk about, that's the key, right? We cannot make the bad design that's like no comment, that's clever, that's the most clever design ever. No, we never have this thing in the class. but we see like what to improve the design. So speaking of native design, it's very nice. You understand Musan very well, but I couldn't see what represent Musan area from the design. Speaking of from the perception class, okay, but that's very nice. That's very nice. That's very
I
nice.
think the representation of Nay's design, involved in the social or cultural functions. I mean, not in physical things, and perhaps to make it perfect, one might think of the physical relations as well. As we all know, these two factors are interconnected and they influence each other, the physical and social realm of the society. I like to add one thing which Nate just mentioned, but it's not in my conclusion, that I think it's very interesting when Nate talk about the time division, because we have Munsan have so small public space, right? So she now turns to think of the division of time. So space and time are two things that you can think of one society, one place, one area. So not only space, because we are architects, or of course designers, we tend to think of space, but we think about time very little. But now when it brings about, like, the division between people and car, which means that relation is important, because when you look at the study of Appleyard, Donald Appleyard, they said that in the place where there's a lot of traffic, the social interaction, the interaction is less. So that's why she said, keep out the traffic to increase more social interaction. I think that's quite important statement that you guys can use it in your design later on, especially for the use of public space. Then I like to summarize with some of my slides, some of the points that I find. Well, I need to start from here. Sorry. My cursor went away when I when I play slideshow. So I think like this is okay, right? Or
It's okay. That's
or
fine.
like this. Okay, I try like this. So I hope it's fine. Okay. So I'd like to make some points of what we have discussed during this month, and at least we have 4 times together from Anna and Nay and myself. And we mentioned about the use of public space and of course the social network, right? So for the public space use during the COVID-19 time, I find that something is very interesting, especially when the first group of today mentioned about their design. I think that is so true, that the use of a public space is depend heavily on physical and socio-cultural factors of each society. So that's why we see, your ideas that Ajahn Poo said, it doesn't fit to Munsan, but it's, of course, it's come from your own physical and social cultural factors. I think this is a simple, but it's quite important fact that if you only study in your own context, you probably lost the idea of this fact. And the second one, I think, during the COVID time, I think more public spaces are needed in the urban areas, as you can see from your examples in China, or from Anna's example in Tamao, Lampang, and other places in Europe, that they said because of the social distancing is now important, right? So that's why we need more spaces. And I think it's quite true in big cities. For example, especially in Europe, when people, the urbanization or the size and the cities are very big and they have grown up quite well. But of course, in Chiang Mai, we don't have that problem as much. But of course, in other areas, we need more spaces in the urban area. And those spaces include the greenery, the parks, pocket parks are very essential during this time. From Anna's observation, the other places or other public spaces are like empty, but the space along the river, right, are used more than ever. That's why I think the parks and pocket parks are essential, and probably Nay can learn from this point. And you already mentioned about the green, right? And I think this point is important during COVID time. And then we go to public space and social network, which is Nay's topic. I find that in the Lana Thai context, which is Chiang Mai, at the urban neighborhood level, public spaces as of in Western cities for public use are rare. I put rare because if you look at Nay's finding of her 4 types of public spaces in the area, you find that there's nothing like plaza or what else something that we familiar with in the Western context when we study about the history of of urban evolution, especially in the Western. We find that those areas is quite important from the history. But in Chiang Mai, the temple ground is still very, very important. It is still a significant and valuable public space for the neighborhood. Sometimes it's the only large public space within the neighborhood. And as you can see, it's quite true, right? And that's why Group 3 want to expand this space into the private area, which is, I think if it's possible, it would be great, but we're not sure that it will be possible. The temple then turns itself into a multifunctional space. As we can see, not only sacred activities happen, everything happen in the temples, and the temple ground becomes very important. People stop and stay in other small public spaces, including small shops for the local and blah, 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 as you can see from Nay's finding. So what are the designer's tasks in this situation? So you need to look closely and carefully into the temple ground spaces, seeing it as significant as a physical as well as social arena for the neighborhood. So when you look at the temples, now it's not only, vacant space with no meaning. You should have an idea that this space is very important for people in the community. They come for every occasion, and it's turned like, you know, like be a multi-functional space. So your design needs to be, I don't know, helpful for every other activities in the space. So what else you can do? You can provide more small spaces and facilities. Of course, not only space, right? You might put more facilities, as Nay already mentioned in her last presentation, just before me, that, you know, put some more space, for some more facilities for the people to stop and stay, to bring more social interaction to the neighborhood. And you know that social interaction is important for the people to feel close together, and then social network or social relation will comes afterward. And you have to think about a space where outsiders and insiders can meet happily, right? So I think probably this item we haven't mentioned because we focus for the people of the inside. But of course, during this time, neighborhood space is also a space for others who are outside the neighborhood, right? So we need to think about these relation. I mentioned before about the people and car relation, and now I like to stress the insider and outsider relation. If you made a balance space and activity, there will be like a happy neighborhood. So thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you, Ajahn Pranam, very much for the idea of the integration classes as this perfect slides. I think this
Okay.
slide is valuable very much for both of us and both of two courses. And I think we learn a lot from Nay and also from Anna project as well.
Can you stop my sharing? I cannot stop it myself. Something happened.
Okay, I will share some whiteboard. Okay, from me, I think that's very
Okay, thank you.
That's very nice that Ajahn Kai just mentioned. Is the what is the new way to thinking of design public spaces, and also both of Anna and Nay, the scoping of the design, the scoping of the research is scoping on communities and space, and community and spaces represent something, right? Something that can create it, some economic district in their own way, somehow like making a neighborhood from the social society, social interactions. And that is the way that architects see an area, right? We just not see an area as an empty land to design a new thing on it, but that land, that site, that spaces already had an existing story in it, right? We have to understand the communities, the story, the building, the context, the neighborhoods, and people in it to decide something, not just decide something that we want to. And from today, I think it could be my fault to provide you guys 10 of you for 3 groups, because I think if 3 groups had works as the one project, that could be interesting, right? The first group has an idea of social interaction in COVID-19 in today's, and the way that you guys research is very nice. You put the message box on the first floor on the lobbies, and then you collecting the observation of people participations and everything. This idea is very nice to understand the social interaction from today. And the second groups, I will use a blue pen. Okay, the second group come up with the main design of the design itself, right? You can design something that semantics, which is something is so the denotation is so directly, but the directs mean like you try to communicate with the massive people, so people just understand banana is banana. But how decide Vua Lai or Muen San? Okay, to people to understand this is Vua Lai and Muen San. I think group number 2 come up with the idea of the design to communicate people. That's nice, and more of that, like you integrated some activity on the design as a product design, like a yoga things, the way that you can set with the sun shading or something that you're thinking of that design can improve people life, people daily life basis or something. And the third groups, I will use a green pen, right? The third group is come up with the site, right? What is the site look like? What is the site with the context? What would they do with this front of the house with the empty lands, like the no one lands? But it come up with the site. What if 3 of you thinking of all of this as a one project? That could be a billion, right? You cannot thinking of like social interaction without a site. And the site could not thinking alone without understanding social interaction, as well as the design. If the design is not connect with the site, what for? Or if the design don't understand the design for social interaction, it's never be value able. Okay, so I think 3 of you, they are the groups. If it could be perfect if it became just one project, I would say that way. Okay, but I think they all have advantage from your design and your story. So understand your advantage and also try to understand your disadvantage of your design as well and improve it so you can be a better designer. So thank you for 3 of you, 3 of your groups. I think that's very challenge, right? It's very challenge to thinking out like how to make the semantic design with the perceptions and also like design on the real side as a worldwide communities that you never know and you never been there since the pandemics. That's very challenge. I think you guys represent some of our class very well. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. That is my wrap up. Okay. Um, I think Ajahn Kai already said that, or maybe Nay and Anna, you would say something before we um, close the seminar.
I don't see Anna. She said she will be here, but
Oh, she's here. She's here.
really? Okay,
She's here.
great.
For me, is this class is make fun and fresh for me. It make me thinking out of the box, and it's more creative than I think it's a good idea. And thank you guys to having me and share ideas. I will like get it to improve more than this. Thanks.
Thank you, Sneh. Thank you, Sneh. You bring out very informative data from your worldwide research as well. Thank you for your slide as well. Okay, Anna, do you have something to say? Just a little bit. Like,
So the of T group is a great idea. So I can get the new idea of how to make a public space with the link COVID-19. So I never think before. So so I will adapt with my thesis. So thank you for sharing the idea, the things, another thing. So thank you.
okay, for making this class perfectly, I have in here Kang and Jennifer. So Kang and Jennifer can would say something to the class as well, like to closing the class. Okay, Kang and Jennifer, say something that you get from the seminar that we made for for 4 classes already. Okay, Kang and Jennifer.
So I'm glad to join this project, and we join the group work, and we join to take a video something and to do something about it, so the daily life about us. I think it's really happy to do it.
Oh, good for you. Mhm. Yeah. Thank you for the video. Okay. Okay, Kang. Carlos. Kang, do you hear? I see your name, but I wonder you are in here or not. Or you just on the eye? Kang. Hello.
Good to engage the whole works. Yeah,
Okay.
very
Okay.
enjoy it.
Okay. Thank you, Kang. Thank you and everyone. Okay, thank you, Ajahn Pranom. Thank you, all of the class committee members, everyone. Thank you, and we will talk about this later on our class. So yeah, keep on good works, and then I think that's a wrap. Okay.
Chan Poo, should we have a group photo now?
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Because I
Okay,
think everybody is here.
okay. Everyone, open cameras, and then I will cap the screen. So open the cameras, making your beautiful faces. Okay. So now I can see your faces. Wake up, wake up. Okay, 1, 2, smile. Another picture, 1, 2, smile. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much indeed.
Gotcha. Okay, bye-bye.
Hope to see you in Rio sometimes. Bye.
Yes, bye. Thank you very much.